once you've gotten like rejected a couple heavy times, it weighs on you and you become a lot more frightened. I didn't feel comfortable like expressing what I really liked because I was afraid of people making fun of me. It gets in your head, you know. It's always there whenever you're like thinking about like, you know, wearing an anime shirt to school, or just like talking about anime, or like, you know, bringing like a Japanese book to study in task at high school.
Yeah.
You know, like, and you're like, if I'm in the wrong place.
Hi guys, welcome to another Beneath the Surface podcast episode. Today's a very special one. I've got Brian here.
Hey!
How are you, man?
I'm good. I told you I'm good.
Dude, you are good.
I've been feeling a lot better recently.
That's good, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, for the viewers out there, you're good.
Yeah.
You're good. We got a confirmation.
Good. I've been held against my will. Please call 911 now.
Right now. But I'm glad.
I'll blink you a message. We're just having fun. I think I might have bumped the mic.
That's alright, no worries. This is just hanging out. It's just a good time.
Just hanging out.
So yeah, we were talking about language and how you wanted to get into that, and Japanese in general, because this man is very good at this language.
No, I'm not. I'm terrible. And like people, you hear that from anyone you'll talk to about. I've heard that from a million Japanese people who speak Japanese fluently and are very well. They'll be like, "Man, my Japanese is terrible." My Japanese actually is terrible, so that's a different.
No, it's good.
It's good. Better than yours.
Yeah, it is. It very much is. But it's interesting, man. Just like seeing someone this passionate, you know, about one topic, which is pretty cool. Which is like Japanese culture and just Japanese language and itself. You know, the Japanese language.
I think, and I don't need to tell you, it's very important to me. It's like it feels like such a cliche to say, oh, it's such a huge part of who I am, but it's
just is.
That's true.
Yeah.
I mean, learning a language is a huge deal.
Yeah, you're lighting that spark for me. I kind of want to learn. I don't know what language, but a language.
It's a good thing.
It's beneficial, you know.
Yeah, and like again, I told you, like as I said to you before, like people will be like, oh, financially, you know, mental health wise, like it helps a lot of. It's just good for your brain.
It helps a lot of stuff.
But
it's like an instrument, kind of.
Yeah, I just play the clarinet.
Yeah, no big deal.
But learning language is such an important thing to me. You know, like it totally will change your life for the better, and you know, it gives you a whole. It sounds so cliche, but it does like change your perspective on a lot of things. I think people who speak more than one language tend to be a lot more tolerant and a lot more open.
Yeah.
Damn fly.
Oh yeah, we got the fly here. This is actually
quite an exciting time trying to kill these.
It's actually
flies.
A 3-person episode. We got the fly here today.
What do you think about this?
Yeah, man, language is really important.
Yeah.
and healthy to learn new ones.
People. Cool. It's really good. I think a lot more people should learn language because I think, as I told you before, I think people like have these preconceived notions of learning language, like, oh, you need to be talented. Oh, you need to be, you need to. I don't remember what I was
have
say.
Like a certain mind.
Yeah, you have to be, you have to have a certain mind. You have to be talented to, angled towards that, you have to have that kind of predetermined kind of way of thinking, and you have to have lots and lots of time, and it's difficult and it's really hard, and I think that's just there's a lot, and like man, it gets harder as you get older, and that's not really true. I mean, obviously, if you're like 1,000 years old, your mind's probably gone. But
I mean, as well as your
in a general
body.
sense, if you're like 45 and you think, oh, I'm too old, that's not true.
Yeah, anyone can learn a language. Like we're saying, anyone can learn a language, just as anyone can learn to draw.
Anyone can do.
Anyone can do most things.
It's not something that takes. You have to be some sort of wonder child.
Yeah, we're back.
Yeah, the stupid fly.
Yeah,
anyway, the thing that the point that I was just trying to make is that anyone can learn a language. There are people out there. It's really, I think it just depends on how you learn well. There are certain methods of learning language that I don't think are as good as people tend to think. They are
the best is to hop into the culture, right?
Yeah, I mean, people tend to be again, and that's another misconception is people think oh, if I go to another language, to another country, and they're speaking the language all the time, I'll just pick it up.
Yeah, and that doesn't happen.
That's bull. I mean,
you gotta make a conscious effort.
You have to make an effort.
Yeah.
You have to. You're gonna even if you're living in X country. Let's use Japan.
Yeah.
for an example, even if you're living in Japan, you're still gonna need textbooks and lots of learning material, and you're gonna have to go over vocabulary lists and stuff. Obviously, just learning from listening and experiencing the language is hugely beneficial, especially to things like understanding the pace of the language, pronunciation, and stuff like that. And there's lots of vocabulary that I've learned just from listening to Japanese. Just yesterday I realized, oh wait, I know what the word fune is. Yeah. It's ship or boat.
Okay, yeah.
And I never learned that from a book or from a vocabulary list or anything. I just heard it a million times in the same context, and then I realized, hey,
were there any preconceived notions? I remember we were talking about that a little bit, in high school and stuff. Oh, you're learning Japanese, that kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, just whenever you you express something you like Japan, or you're learning Japanese, you like anime and manga. People are gonna throw the weeaboo at you, and that was high school. I mean, I loved high school, but that was something I definitely could do without. It's something that has made me kind of more hesitant to share. I really have a genuine love and interest in Japanese culture, and I studied Japanese since I was 13. I want to go live in Japan, and those things, if it was another language, another country, if I said the same thing about French, I doubt anyone.
No one would give you crap.
People would be impressed.
Yeah.
And that's the same with every language except Japanese, and I think that's the.
Oh, there's a car.
But
yeah, unfortunate. It's unfortunate.
The other side of Japanese pop culture becoming more popular.
Yeah.
In the West, in America specifically.
One of the cons is
people, because it's considered a nerdy thing. People tend to have negative associations with it, especially if you're the kind of person who makes fun of people for having nerdy interests.
Yeah, totally. I remember from 4th grade to sophomore year in high school, I was super nervous about being into Pokemon.
Oh my god, being into Pokemon
in
I was late 2000s.
Yeah,
was and I guess early 2010s. Yeah. X and Y I feel is the point where it became okay again.
Yeah.
But being hugely into Pokemon, which we both were,
of course,
at the time.
Yeah.
That was the worst thing, the most embarrassing thing you could get caught with on the playground.
Seriously, it's this thing that we shouldn't be ashamed of, but we were. And I remember junior year, I was all right, screw this. I'm gonna bring some of my new friends from high school in my room, and at the time my room was even more pimped out.
Yeah, with Pokemon stuff.
Yeah, with Pokemon stuff. And I was I got on a level of vulnerability with my friends, and I brought them up here. I wouldn't really bring my friends up here unless it was Kieran or Connor or my friend Zach or like friends I've known for years.
Yeah.
Like
Close, really good friends for a
yeah,
long time.
yeah. At the time, and then I started bringing up like closer friends that I recently had met, and you know, it's surprising. Like their reaction kind of, you know, excited me. Like they were like impressed. They were like, "Whoa, this is kind of cool!" Like,
Yeah.
and I was like, "Wow, like this is."
You expected, what a loser.
Yeah, like, you know, not that blatant, because, like, they were my friends at the time.
Yeah.
But, like, you know, like, oh, like, this is weird.
Yeah.
Or, like, you know. So, it's just remembering that, like, we're into what we're into, you know, and it's not harming anyone or ourselves. Like, so, like, who the hell cares what other people think?
Yeah.
You know, it's like we're passionate about it.
I think, you know, there's always, like, I love Japanese culture in Japan, and, like, I love the Japanese language. I think it's beautiful. And I also really like anime.
Yeah.
And
anime is, like, the most thing that's, like,
ridiculed.
stereotyped.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, and it's just such a beautiful art form. That's
yeah,
like,
and it's, like, anyone who has, like, such a negative opinion of anime clearly just doesn't know about anime.
Yeah, just doesn't know enough about it. It's
such a diverse medium, you know, like, literally, I can't think of, you know, and, like, I'm super into music and video games and film, and frankly, anime is probably among the most diverse mediums I'm particularly familiar with.
Yeah, and we're both into a lot of diverse, like, like video game, like all these things are very diverse.
Yeah, they're still very, very diverse mediums. I just think, and I think it shows more in anime because people tend to have, you know, even I, when I was, like, young, tended to have preconceived notions about what animation was, who it was for.
Totally.
And anime really is just awesome, and there's so much. There's an anime for everyone.
Yeah.
Any kind of taste, anything you could possibly imagine.
Seriously,
you know?
It's wild, man.
There's that anime about the butt detective. He's a butt. It's like a kids show, but it's like I love hilarious, weird stuff you get like that. And then there's like really, really deep, you know, human dramas, like you know, something like Reign of the Fireflies or the horror movie Perfect Blue is just really all of Satoshi Kon's work.
Man. Everything on the spectrum. It's really fantastic. It's
Monster. That's a great show.
It's interesting how these things affect our lives in such a positive and or negative way from like how people have looked on us.
Yeah,
you know?
like
it's like, you know, but
I got made fun of so mercilessly. I mean, like I obviously it wasn't as terrible as I'm sure many people. I know a lot of people get
comparisons
really
don't really work in this scenario. If people made fun of you, like that's a shitty thing. You know, it's
principle. You think, well, I like what I like. I'm okay with it. You know, screw them. It doesn't matter what they think. They're just a bunch of assholes. You know. But you get into. It's easy to say that, and you like know it logically. You know, you say, yeah, that makes sense, but at a point, once it's happened so much that you don't feel comfortable. I didn't feel comfortable like expressing what I really liked because I was afraid of people making fun of me. That's and like, you know, you start it gets in your head, you know. It gets a little pocket there, and it's always there whenever you're like thinking about like, you know, wearing an anime shirt to school, or just like talking about anime, or like, you know, bringing like a Japanese book to study in task at high school. You know, like, and you're like, if I'm in the wrong place, I could get
like I should watch myself.
Get some grief for that. You know, and like that's just
it's nonsense.
It made me feel, you know, it was obviously it's not as dramatic as all that.
No,
but it made me feel uncomfortable in a way that it just wasn't fair. And, you know, you can say, oh, kids will be kids. And, like, in elementary school and I guess, like, the beginning of middle school, yeah, kids are terrible. And we need to teach them to be better and nicer and more accepting about each other. But, like, once you're a teenager in high school, you really should know better.
Oh, yeah.
Than that,
oh, yeah. I mean, kids who picked on other kids in high school, you know, they most likely got picked on themselves. They most likely bullied by their parents. You know.
I know, but it
and it's like
two wrongs don't make a right. You know?
No,
like
exactly.
It's never an excuse.
No.
For something,
Yeah,
you know?
no, that's
There's
not
a great
what I'm saying.
line that Mugen says in Samurai Champloo.
Really? Yeah.
He says, you know, you can make all the excuses you want, but you're still the one who decided how to live your life.
Yeah, really that's a fantastic
quote. I love that. Oh,
I actually
Shinichiro Watanabe.
Yeah.
Make love to me, man.
Dude.
Best director. I love him.
He I wasn't mentioning those to make any excuses for them at all. My God, no. But it's a good thing to know.
Yeah,
because it's like because it's really easy to because that's how we have the same potential to become, have that darkness inside of us due to the darkness that's been thrown at us. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's really unfortunate and really a shame that this has happened to people and this happened to you and it happened to me a little bit, not as much as you, but it's all like fear. You know, no one's coming out of the womb like this. You know, it's all fear.
Yeah, I remember the first time that we like really started talking and it was in gym, right? Yeah, it was I think the first class we had together that ever, if I remember. And I was wearing a Studio Ghibli shirt and you were like, man, I love Studio Ghibli, and it was like because you were like, to me, especially to me at like 15 or 16, you were like totally like a jock, you were with all the cool kids, and with like just a crowd that I didn't hang out with, people who I would be afraid of making fun of me, and
shit.
And it was like, oh my God, and I'm so happy that you're not making fun of me, so happy that we have a connection here. And
man,
that was great because it helped me get through that gym class, because I didn't really have any friends in that gym class, and talking with you was really good.
I remember looking forward to that. I remember being like, one, I'm curious on what shirt he's wearing. I wanted to pre-order whatever it is. And two, I loved our conversations in that class. That was definitely like the first spark of like a sweet friendship. It's really cool. It's interesting how like small things like that can start something pretty big, small, like the first hellos are scary, but that's why I'm like kind of like that. Like if I see, I like strangers, I like approaching strangers, but because
you're different from me,
dude. It's scary, but like I like to remember that you were a stranger to me once. Like Connor was a stranger to me once, one of my closest friends.
Everyone was a stranger to me at one time,
dude. Literally, seriously, it's like it's pretty wild. So like once we put ourselves out there, there's so much potential, so many sweet friendships that are like waiting to be made.
But it's pretty awesome. It's definitely,
but it's also scary.
It's definitely scary, and it's definitely hard for someone like me who's more introverted, and someone who's a lot more socially anxious. Like I have trouble like talking to like cashiers and stuff because I'm just so like I have a lot of trouble talking to people I don't know, and there's like. I remember in like high school, I think a lot of my friends probably, most, aside from like my really close friends who knew I really liked them, a lot of my friends probably didn't think of me as closely as I might have thought of them, because I didn't really hang out outside of school very much. And that wasn't because like I didn't want to per se, as much as I had enough talking and social interaction in the week at school. I didn't need to,
pile it on
because I needed my alone time,
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's scary.
That's a problem in like just making relationships with people, because they might expect something that you're not gonna give because it's just not what you're comfortable with, not what's suited for you. Being introverted is especially in a culture like ours where it's very being extroverted, I think, is generally very
supported.
Yeah, like damn it, I can't. This is what happens when you learn a second language.
Right.
You will have more.
Forget English.
You will have a harder time learning, remembering your English words.
Ollie told me that. He said,
that's something I think a lot of people who learn second languages notice.
Yeah.
You're praised for it. You know, you get.
Oh yeah. There's a lot more support when it comes to extroverts.
Yeah,
and
like
introverts kind of have like some stereotypes.
That kind of behavior gets. Where's the word? This is so embarrassing.
No, it's alright. No, dude.
You know, you get they get positive
feedback,
reinforcement from their behavior.
Yeah, totally.
That's the word. I don't know what word I'm looking for exactly. And it's really simple too. I know it is. It's just really embarrassing. But
you're good, man.
I can say words like indubitably and stuff like that. Make it sound like I'm smarter.
It's alright.
I hate it when this is. We don't even have to go into this. I always think it's hilarious when people try to use bigger words to sound smarter and they use them incorrectly.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
that's so funny to me.
People should just, like, use...
If you don't know how to use the word, don't use it.
Yes.
You know?
I agree. Just learn it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's good stuff.
Read. It trust me, this is obviously a total aside, but reading... I think I have a pretty good vocabulary of English. I'm talking about my native language. Because I've read so much over my life. You know, I read a lot as a kid. My mother read to me before I could read myself.
Yeah,
you know,
that's really good.
I probably have read more as, like, for fun than most people do. At least our age, you know.
Definitely.
I think
Definitely. If you read at all.
Really. And, like, reading is really, you know, it's fun. You learn a lot. Your speaking and your writing will become better if you read a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just wanted to...
Yeah,
I mean,
it's true.
That's something that you'll notice if you're learning a second language, but just in English, in your first language, it's important to...
Seriously.
If you want to sound intelligent... Read a lot.
Read if you're like stuck on the block. Read if you're stuck in a car. Or just
that's something that
read is good.
One of the reasons why there are so many Japanese books that are like really small.
Yeah.
Is because they're supposed to be like just a pocket, and you can just take it out on the train and read.
I like that a lot.
Everyone's taking trains everywhere in Japan.
Pocketbooks.
Yeah, I have like a copy of Battle Royale, which is a great novel.
Nice.
It's like this big.
Dude.
It's tiny.
Yeah. I like tiny books. They're cute.
Yeah, they are cute.
But what?
Small things are cute, you know.
Yeah.
Just objects you don't expect to be small, you know.
What were we talking about before?
I don't remember.
I think the social anxiety of like high school and stuff.
Oh yeah. I mean, being introverted is difficult and I don't want to like. I'm not trying to like make a sob story for myself.
No, but it's like
it can be a lot harder than a lot of people I think realize to like maintain relationships, to you know, just to make friends in the first place, to, you know, to talk to people and stuff, like, you know. And I mean, obviously both, that's like, you can technically be introverted and be like completely socially adept.
Yeah.
You just need your alone time. But I think a lot of people are introverted and tend to be more socially anxious and not as social.
Yeah.
And it's like, you should know this from me, right? Like, I like hanging out with you. I like talking with you. We have a good time. But, you know, so I clearly have no problem socializing.
Yeah.
It's just difficult for me to initiate, to initiate the socializing.
Yeah.
To
initiate like a relationship or talking to that stranger.
Yeah, it's hard, and that's something that I've still, you know, kind of struggle with.
Yeah. And I think everyone to some extent feels that, but then introverts definitely more. And there's got to be a statistic out there.
Oh, yeah.
You know, there's got like introverts because I mean, if one's very much introverted, and I don't know, I seem very extroverted. Most people think I'm extroverted, which I am, like, but I'd say I'm like 60-40. I'd say I'm like 60% extrovert. I like really love and need my alone time, you know. And I think like, because it's funny because all human beings need both things, right?
Yeah.
So like no one wants to live alone on a desert island, you know. We all want to feel love and feel loved and accepted
and have friends. Like, that's the thing, like, a lot of people think like someone might, and I can definitely attest to this, someone might seem kind of like standoffish. But they might just and like seem like they don't want friends or they're not friendly, and it might just because they're nervous because they don't really, they're
Yeah.
not good at it, and like, I definitely have felt that way where it's like people might think I'm kind of cold,
Oh, okay.
but it's just like I'm not ready to like I'm not gonna be like friendly and upbeat to like people I'm not familiar with.
Yeah, yeah, and that's very reasonable. You
Yeah.
know, I think a good chunk of people who refrain from sociability to the extent that they're mostly an introvert. I think there are like really good ways to do that, like positive ways, and there's also like uh, harmful ways. Like people don't reach out sometimes because they've reached out before and it's been painful.
Yeah, I can definitely attest to that.
Dude, same, same.
You try to like I can't tell you. I've tried to like establish a relationship. I'm not talking romantically. People tend to like overblow the word relationship.
Yeah, not.
I'm just talking about generally communication between people. Like I've tried to like reach out to like an old friend or something, and like that fly.
Oh, there's a fly. Welcome back, sir.
Regardless, better stay there. It's just like once you've been burned a couple times, it gets really hard to try to put yourself out there again because, and I hear people say like, obviously it's like, oh, it's not good to be afraid and never, let yourself out there. And it's like, that's obviously true. But once you've gotten like rejected a couple heavy times, it weighs on you and you become a lot more frightened about what's going to happen, about how you can do it,
That's true.
How you can do it.
Yeah.
I sound so eloquent. I'm such an eloquent speaker.
No, you're too hard on yourself. Man, I've been too hard on myself. So I emphasize with you being hard on yourself.
Yeah. Empathize.
Empathize.
You said emphasize.
Oh, shoot. Thank you.
Read, kids.
Read.
Stay in school.
Please stay in school. Yeah, I do. Because I was really hard on myself. I was really hard on myself, like, in all of high school, like, and I still am, but it's such a thing that over time can weigh on us, because when we're hard on ourselves, we end up believing it, we end up believing that we're not good enough, that like, even though there are small things we point out in ourselves that are inadequate or seem inadequate, those things build up, so be lighter on yourself.
Yeah, like, honestly, I think I told you this, but only for like the past half year maybe, I've been like consistently hanging out with people because of you, because my friend Adam is more available than he was, and before that, I didn't, like, seriously, like for the first like year, maybe and a half after high school, I was like, I didn't do much of anything because your friends all go out different directions. They're busy, and it's like at a certain point it gets awkward to try to like initiate something. And for that longest time, I didn't really hang out with anyone. And I think for a long time, from like the end of 2017 to maybe like early this year, I like genuinely didn't like myself, like I was really hard on myself for like not doing this, not doing that, like, thinking this way, having, blah, blah, blah. Like, I just, it's one of the worst feelings I think anyone can have is when you look at yourself in the mirror and you're like, I don't like that person, I'm not a fan of them. And, talking with you and just being friends with you, I hope I'm in frame. Yeah, I'm in frame.
Yeah, you're good.
Has just been, I think, really good for me personally. And this year, I think, obviously, things have happened that have just kind of pushed me forward to be doing more things. I tell you, nothing, after a while, being bored and, like, having nothing in your calendar feels awful. And that's that sounds like it should be obvious, but it might not be. It might sound like, oh wow, I have so much free time.
Yeah.
And it's like, but I'm spending most of it
Boredom
sleeping.
can be torture. Yeah.
Yeah,
man.
And like having a goal, even if it's like,
it's huge.
Even if it's not so important, it is important.
So,
it's a really good thing. Like having a goal for me now, like studying for the Japanese language proficiency test, setting up, looking at going to Japan. It's like it's almost cathartic how good it just feels to have something to do, to be looking forward to doing something,
There's so much meaning and responsibility.
Yeah.
There's so much. Like when I remember like some summers, between high school or whatever, even after high school, I'd have like a week to myself or like not much to do. And it's like a day goes by and I'm like, yeah, like I'm going to crank out some, movie I wanted to watch or something.
Yeah.
And then like the next day comes and I'm just like, oh, what can I do? Like I need to find something to do.
I tell you, I like the first like while after high school, I was like, oh my God, I don't have to go to school. I can just watch as much anime and play as many games as I want. Yeah. I don't have anything to do. Yeah. And it felt like really good for a little bit. And then it, that like
dissipates.
This sets in. And like, I also get like, you get kind of jealous of like your friends who are like at college because it's like, I don't really want to go to college that much, but like it's something to do. And like, there's always like an awkwardness when you like meet people once you've graduated high school or something. And you're like, oh, I'm not going to college. I haven't gone to college. And it's like, dude, like I hate that.
Dude, I really hate that.
I'm miserable enough, okay?
Dude, it's wild. There's so much negativity from older people usually to kids our age that aren't in college. Like I'm not in college. I went to college for a month. I hated it. Yeah. I hate how it's set up. It's regurgitation of information a lot of the time. It doesn't seem like there's a lot of growth for me there. One, because I wouldn't really know what to study. I have a lot of friends that are studying what they love in college, and they're doing a ton of like growing.
Good for them.
Yeah, and it's really awesome. But like personally, college won't do much for me. I honestly believe, and I've been really trying not to waste a day. So like I know I'm not in college, but I'm like,
I wish I could get that down.
Dude, you're going to Japan. You're going to Japan.
I didn't do anything yesterday.
Dude, you can't be hard on yourself, dude. That's how I've learned to get some sort of work ethic. I know it's yeah.
This is so frustrating.
It's all right. It's how I've learned. It's honestly how I've learned to get a work ethic is to not be hard on myself and not.
You always telling me not to.
Seriously, dude, because I've been in your place.
You're always telling me.
I've been in your place, and I still am. It's like we are better than our negative judgments and evil judgments on ourselves. We're just like so hard on ourselves, and we don't need to be. And it really takes a mental toll, and it's taken a mental toll on me. And I just know how it feels. So like I really, I've been in your spot. So it sucks. So I'm like, and I know that you're an amazing human being. I know you have value, and I hate to see when you don't seem like you have value. And I'm like, Brian, you've got.
So glad I'm friends with you. I feel like we understand each other a lot.
I agree, man.
We've been in the same place in a lot of ways.
Yeah, there's a lot of mental space specifically that has you and our relationship has resonated and reminded me how like lucky I am to find someone who's not only into anime and Studio Ghibli but also into those things and have gone through certain things that I've gone through. And it's nice to talk about those things because we're much harder on ourselves than we think, and it sucks because I do it all the time, but I just wanted to, that's the work ethic. So yeah, as I was saying, like once I realized that I have intrinsic value and that human beings have intrinsic value, it really sets us up to succeed. It sets us up, gives us more energy. We don't doubt ourselves as much. It's not like there's any self-doubt especially compared to like before. Self-doubt is very, very, very hard to lose. But it's something.
Self-loathing is also very hard. Is quite a
quite a blanket to rip off.
Yeah, it's sucks.
Yeah, it does. It does. It's like remembering that we're enough, and that for knowing that gives us the power to do even more what we love, and to do even more, study even more Japanese, and record even more episodes of the podcast, or whatever.
Hey, I'm watching it. I like it.
I'm like super flattered. Thank you.
Hope your other friends are watching.
Dude, I'm like super lucky. Like Connor told me like a week ago or something. He's like, dude, yeah, I'm like halfway through like an episode, and I'm like, damn, Connor, you're actually watching these? Like,
I'm watching.
Yeah, you're actually watching these.
Yeah,
it's really cool.
I don't watch everyone. I'm selective with what I spend my time on. But
yeah, it's just remembering that we have value.
Yeah,
boiled down, no matter what.
Yeah, and there's like I didn't go to college because I saw that. I looked at like what I thought like at like American college and like the culture around it and like what it had to offer me, and it just wasn't hitting me that like, dude, this sounds like something that you would enjoy. This sounds like something that would really help you, to what you want to do, Yeah. And like there's nothing wrong. There's a big problem in I think our society that that like college is an expectation. Yeah. And like if you don't go to college, oh, you're a reject, you're a loser, you're a idiot that can't do anything.
Yeah, yeah. There's like underlying like thing, it's like and it sucks, and it's just not true. Like we're critically we're thinking of college, and my worries go out to the people that go to college just because people have told them to.
I know, and I think there's a lot of people
terrible.
That do that.
Yeah.
People who don't know what to do after high school and just go to college because it's what's expected of them.
Like Connor's told me, like he's met kids like that, and there's like kids like drinking themselves unconscious. Everyone's like
the
having
partying culture, and like that kind of negative stuff is one of the reasons I didn't want to go to college. I don't like that. I don't drink.
Like a lot of people are drinking like a lot. A lot of people are having like a lot of sex with people that it's like strangers. Like the hookup culture is a thing. Yeah, and that doesn't bring any lasting meaning. So it's like these things are really potent in college. Yeah. And there's a reason why, I think because there's a lot of pressure, and there's a lot of pushing to do something that someone might not want to do. I think parents, maybe pressure their kid into doing this thing, and then he's like, okay, I gotta choose something, and then he does, and then he's not sure about it, but then he's like, what am I doing with my life?
How do you choose? It's hard to be like, to look at someone who's like 18, 19, 20, and say, pick the thing that you're gonna do for the rest of your life.
It's like, whoa.
Dude, I haven't even eaten all the food I want. Can I?
It's like, let me take a breather.
Can I get Yeah.
Dude, we're doing we have things we're passionate about, you and I, and many other people who aren't in college.
Very passionate.
Yeah, seriously. You're gonna go to Japan.
I want to go to Japan.
That's gonna be awesome. Yeah, and you're gonna learn even more of the Japanese
I'm so excited.
Culture.
So scared, but I'm so excited.
That's good, man. Being scared is a very good signal that you're doing the right. It honestly is. It's a good. It's a good sign that
I'm going to North Korea. You're doing the good thing.
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
Don't go to North Korea, please.
No, but like fear in that case is really good. I think because that means that there's a lot of growing that's gonna happen.
Yeah, I think
it's pretty cool.
Living on my own. Yeah. Just having that experience is gonna be hugely beneficial.
Yeah. And I think kids our age that aren't going to college, like my friend Teddy is, going to Ecuador, and my friend Rowan, like he's doing his dream and working with people to do like a podcast and working with
like this,
and it's incredible, and I have so much admiration for those two and for you and these people that I'm seeing that they're doing what their heart is telling them rather than what the culture is telling them.
Yeah,
and that's really important.
I think that's just do what you want, man.
Yeah. Do what
Don't
you
hurt
want
people,
and do what
but
gives
do-
you. Yeah.
But
Do what you want if it's from cliche it is from your heart.
yeah.
You know.
If you have a passion for anything,
You know.
X thing, as long as it's not hurting people.
Yeah, don't hurt people.
I'm very against hurting people.
Yes.
Just do it. If you want to, and that's such like a, kind of a lack of an answer. Like, what should I do? Just do what you want.
Yeah, and if you don't have your if you don't have your passion yet,
Look for
do
it.
many different things.
Yeah.
And figure out learn a language like you were saying.
Hey, yeah, that's never a bad thing.
Yeah.
Learning a language is awesome.
Yeah.
Like,
play an instrument. You learn to sing, learn to draw.
I play an instrument.
That's cool, man. I want to learn the piano some more. Like I used to know like
piano's
one song.
Nice. I love the piano. It's a good instrument. Clarinet power.
Dude,
Woo.
piano.
I love the clarinet.
Dude, clarinet's sick. Piano and violin.
I haven't played it in a while. I should.
I love violin, dude.
Yeah.
Violin and piano put together.
Those are
crap.
I think the most emotional instruments.
Oh,
They have
dude,
there's
Kingdom
a
Hearts
real lot
music,
of sadness in them. That's why a lot of music by Nobuo Uematsu in Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
Kingdom Hearts. Yoko Shimomura, she did Kingdom Hearts.
And I pronounced his name wrong last time, but Joe Hisaishi. Hisaishi.
Hisaishi Jo.
Yeah.
His name is
one of my
Joe.
favorite artists ever.
Yeah.
Beautiful. His
work is
he's
so
done
good.
it's
all
so
the
Ghibli.
Identifiable as you hear that and you're like, that's Ghibli music. It's so identifiable with their style.
Yeah, and it just shows
he's done
that
almost every. He's done every Miyazaki movie.
Yeah.
Except maybe
he didn't do
Lupin the third one or something.
Yeah, I don't know if he did Tales of Earthsea or something.
No. He might have done Tales of Earthsea.
Yeah, I'm not
he
sure.
didn't do most of Isao Takahata's films.
What about
he did
Your Neighbor the Yamadas or whatever?
I don't think he did that. He did do The Tale of Princess Kaguya.
Oh,
Kaguya Hime no Monogatari. I love that movie so much.
We should watch that together.
Yeah, I haven't. I told you last time. I've only watched it twice.
Same.
And I've had it for God, how long has it been?
It's a great film.
4 years.
Yeah.
I've only watched it twice because I don't want to get too familiar with it so it doesn't have the same kind of impact. That's what I do with a lot of the movies that I really like.
Yeah.
Except Kiki's Delivery Service. I watch that at least once a year.
Yeah, no, I'll crank that.
That's a little different because it's got that childhood thing to it. But
yeah.
Regardless, there's a lot of meaning in doing what you want,
doing things in general. But then if you're doing something you love, the energy and money comes. It really does. It really does.
There's just learn a language. Learn a language. Do it right now.
Learn a language. There are a lot of walls that come up. There's many mountains to climb when it comes to finding our passion and then working on that passion and perfecting that passion. But it's the thing that brings some of the most meaning. Definitely.
Do you know what? I'd like to talking about a little more about language learning.
Yeah, man.
It's not everyone can do it. Everyone has the ability. I really don't think it's a talent thing. I think it's a passion thing. It's how much you're willing to put into it is how much you're going to get out of it, right?
Yeah.
And there's no shortcut. There's no hack, I hate that word that people use.
Hack. Cutting corners.
Yeah, and it's there's no easy mode to doing something in real life. There's no way to there's no way to cut corners. There's no way to hack and play the system.
Yeah.
It's learning a language.
There's no
hack. I mean, obviously there's techniques that are better than others.
Yeah. But those aren't hacks.
That's just that's just about how learning is.
Yeah.
Learning a language is hard. It's gonna take a lot of. It's a difficult thing. Language is endless. You can't judge yourself too harshly. As one of the things that I think has been super beneficial to me is I see these the vloggers in Japan that I really like and stuff like that, people like that, and I think, oh, they're so good. How am I ever gonna get that way? And it's all of these people were still at were a beginner at some point. Everyone started from nothing.
Yeah.
On a skill like that. Everyone started out not knowing anything. and now they're really good at it. But everyone was there. So I'll stop saying I hate that.
That's all right. That's all right.
There's this really but yeah, it's like I totally lost my thought.
That's okay. Language and stuff.
There's no quick, easy, one size fits all solution to anything. Yeah. To learning language, it's not as hard as people think it is. As long as you put consistent effort into it, like 10 minutes a day, will get you. And somewhere. You should enjoy 30 minutes a day. Yeah, that's another thing. You should enjoy
it on some level. You should.
There's a.
If you don't, just don't do it.
I watched. Yeah.
but try it first.
Try it and trust me, it's fun. There's
man.
And it's absolutely horrible at times.
Yeah. Hard.
Something that I heard a guy, in like a TED Talk I was watching say was, you can't. If you're angry, if you're frustrated, you're not gonna learn. You need to learn well. You need to be in a good mood. You need to be happy. You need to be, motivated. And keeping that up can be difficult, but I do think that you can do it.
Yeah.
I think anyone can learn a language, and I think everyone has the passion to do it. They just need to find what that is.
And and being patient with oneself is really important. You've got to be patient with the language. You've got to be patient with yourself. You've got to not put yourself down if you forget a song forget a word or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I was looking over my vocabulary that I was going over, and this is so funny. I told my mother this because it was funny. I remembered every word except one, and I was like, okay, what does this mean? Reading it over and again. Can't remember what it is. The only vocabulary word I can't remember. I look it up. It's to remember or to memorize.
Oh man, that's hilarious. That funny? That's pretty hilarious.
What are the odds?
To remember.
I forgot the word for remember in Japanese. I do remember the word for forget.
That's like there's this one bit. I think in a show, and it was like he's talking to the camera, and he's like, in the 5th grade, there was a national spelling bee, and I lost to Rasaj Patel in the grand finals by misspelling the word failure.
That's funny.
I think it's from The Office. I think it's like Dwight saying that.
Good, yeah. That's like. It's my life right there. There's self-deprecating humor is always your first line of defense.
I want to put JonTron in the description of this video just because we love JonTron.
Just watch him. He's funny. Yeah. There's a couple of things I'd recommend for language learners. If you, I hope, if you decide to learn a language,
I might
take some inspiration.
I think if I go somewhere in the world, like at wherever I go next, I think it will be an Asian country. Maybe it'll be Japanese, man. Maybe you can help me out with that. That would be kind of sick, actually.
That would be kind of sick. I'd always have that, I probably have a complex about having someone who I'd consider, almost a rival,
Oh, yeah.
That would hurt me. These, stop stealing my stuff.
Stop stealing my language, man.
Jeez.
It's like we're the whitest we can be. We're like, stop stealing my language. Capital M, my language.
Stop it. Yeah, I know, but I've always been just a little bit jealous of, and envious of, of people who speak Japanese too, because I'm like,
oh really?
You're always gonna be comparing yourself to them, and it's like I feel like suck. I think it's better if you're in a way that you're not gonna be doing that.
Yeah, comparisons are odious.
The thing that I wanted to say was one thing that I think is really useful, and I've been doing this. I've done this for years, but I've been doing it more recently. Is just speaking to yourself in the language, constructing sentences while you're making your bed or doing whatever while you're alone. Especially if you don't have someone to talk to, and I feel like a lot of people don't have the same, don't have the ability to be able to have a native speaker of their target language around. I mean, obviously the internet can kind of help with that, but just in general, I think it's important to keep speaking to yourself. Just while you're doing something, saying what you're doing, saying how you're feeling. It's I think good practice for just speaking.
Talking to yourself in general is really healthy.
Yeah, I like
know.
talk. I talk to myself.
Like
Some
in
people think
English.
it's strange, and I always think that's kind
There's
of
a stereotype before. It's like, you're crazy if you talk to yourself. It's like,
It's
no,
like,
it's just really
I
helpful.
talk to myself
especially
to,
with
like, organize my thoughts.
Yeah.
I do that a lot.
Especially with that, yeah.
Yeah, so I had another one that I forgot. Another tip I was gonna give.
Language tip?
I forgot it.
That's alright.
Wasureta como. I don't know what tip is in Japanese. The tip. I mean, there's a lot of English loanwords in Japanese.
That's alright. I mean, camera's low on on battery.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
But yeah, man. I think I'll call it just in case I don't want this to cut out. That's happened to me before, and I'm just like,
that sucks.
Yeah.
Well, this has been fun.
Yeah.
I think we did a good job.
I think so too. I think we have a lot of sweet material to work with, and thank you for coming on, man. I really enjoy like talking with you in general, and I'm flattered that I wanted to come on and chat. It's a scary thing having like a camera in our face.
Yeah, and like being like someone else could watch this.
Yeah, totally.
And hate me.
Yeah, there's always those thoughts, but thank you for coming on, and I'm glad you seem like you enjoying yourself being on. You know?
Yeah.
That's the. I mean,
just a little bit nervous, words.
Yeah, no, the only way a podcast isn't like a success, in my opinion, is that we're just not enjoying ourselves. And, and I've enjoyed myself at least. So
this has been fun.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like I'm like. There's like things that I wanted to say that I've totally forgotten. So
yeah, we could to have you back on.
I'd do another one if we can get a good topic. Going.
Start at the beginning.
We'll just watch it at anime and then talk about
it. All right, guys. Well, thank you for joining, and if you're here, that's awesome. You're 56 minutes in, or however long it is.
Yeah, and we're probably gonna cut some of this stuff with us dealing with this damn fly.
So yeah, thank you for being a veteran of the cast.
Really, I hope there's some people who will watch this and get something out of it.
Yeah, that's the
don't hurt people. That's my number one.
If you're not hurting someone, it's because of me. It's because of the podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.